Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is Thursday, June 1st, and we got the NBA Finals getting underway today. Game 1 in Denver between the Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets. But guys, before we get started with our analysis and our picks, make sure to like this video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit those notification bells if you haven't done so already and you are new. Now guys, Denver here, we see them for the series, minus 400 to win it all. Miami plus 310. What's interesting here, guys, Denver is actually the second biggest favorite to win the championship since the 2017 Warriors. The Warriors were actually the biggest favorite last 10-15 years. That we all know that year, the 2017 Warriors swept the Cavs. They just steamrolled right through that series, won it very easily. Denver, the second biggest favorite since the 2017 Warriors, something to definitely take note of. Now, what we're going to do first, guys, we're going to briefly look at what each team has done so far in the playoffs, and then we'll get into the head-to-head matchup and then our picks for Game 1. Miami, let's start off with Miami. In the first round, we know they beat the Milwaukee Bucks, 4-1, the top seed Milwaukee Bucks. The Heat, of course, were fortunate to play against the Bucks in the first 2.5 games were without Giannis, but no excuse. The Giannis did play in the final 2 games of that series. They won 4-1 to get into the second round, take on the New York Knicks, where they won that series 4-2. I think it was a little more lopsided than actually that 4-2 final series price indicates. They were pretty dominant in the second round. And then the third round, guys, we know against the Boston Celtics. What a crazy, wacky series that was. They won that in 7, went to Boston Garden. Got revenge from the Celtics from last season. We know Boston went to the NBA Finals last year, winning that series in 7. Miami got the revenge, went to Boston Garden, won big in Game 7. Miami, guys, keep in mind, is not your typical 8 seed. We know that they needed the play-in tournament in order to make the playoffs. But remember, just last season with an identical roster, they were the top seed. This season, guys, we know Miami did a lot of load management. They had a lot of injuries, kind of paced their way. I'd say they paced their way through the regular season. And the reason for this 8 seed, the quality on the roster is a lot higher than an 8 seed. They are not definitely your typical 8 seed, that's for sure. The only player from last season really that's not playing with the team this year is PJ Tucker. Can't say it's a big loss for the Miami Heat. Most of the players that they had on last season's roster still playing. So we know they are definitely high quality. Over here, guys, on the injuries, of course, we know Victor Oladipo with his knee issue. He's going to be gone most likely for next season also. The good news for them is reports say that Tyler Hero will most likely be back in Game 3 of this series, which means the first game at home for the Miami Heat. We also have to keep that in the back of our heads. Very important that they get this player back. For Denver, guys, so far they've been off for I think nine days or so. They've been off. They've pretty much steamrolled through the playoffs so far. In the first round, I guess the Timberwolves 4-1 in that series, very dominant. Only gave up 1 game. Second round, the most competitive series so far against the Phoenix Suns. They won that 4-2. And we know in the third round against the Lakers, they swept the Lakers. And so far, guys, in the playoffs, undefeated at home, the Denver Nuggets. We know they were very dominant also during the regular season. One of the strongest home teams in the league. I think the second best record behind the Memphis Grizzlies. And if the last couple of weeks, if they didn't shut the engines down a bit, where they lost a couple of games at home, they probably would have ended the season with the top record in the league. In the playoffs, they continue that. Haven't lost at home yet. What has been notable so far for the Nuggets, we know during the regular season they weren't that great of a road team, but in the playoffs, guys, much improved. Have been playing very well. They did lose 1 game in Minnesota. That 1 game was on the road, and 2 in Phoenix, where Phoenix had to shoot lights out in order to win those games, and they were pretty much in those games as well. Lakers, they won both games on the road over there, so they are tough at home and on the road. What was interesting, guys, after the Lakers series and watching LeBron's playoff press conference at the end of Game 4, he said that him and AD were talking in the locker room and how Denver was the best team that they probably played in the 4 years that they've been together. That says quite a lot, and that's actually a statement that is worth taking note of, because it's always important getting the players' perspectives, opposing players, and see how they feel playing against certain teams. And LeBron, he tipped his hat to the Nuggets, said that they have strengths all over the place. Now, of course, they got Nikola Jokic, arguably the best player in the world. They got length, they got size, they got shooting. They're very well coached, and overall, like he said, the best team that they've played in the 4 years that him and AD have been together. Very interesting comment by LeBron James. Now, guys, take a look at the head-to-head matchup and the history between these two teams. Briefly, Denver has won the last 6 meetings between these two teams. They've beaten the Miami Heat 6 times in a row. Can't really say I'm putting too much weight into that, though, because these are all regular season games. We know that each team likes to play during the regular season. The rotations are a lot bigger. Coaches play a lot more players. We see 9, 10-man rotations. In the playoffs, we know those rotations get shortened up. Teams play with 7, 8 guys max. So you can't really put too much weight into that. But Denver, just for history's sake, has won 6 in a row. Now, the matchups, guys, here also, I think, are pretty lopsided, to be honest. Denver does have the length. They have size. They have, of course, Nikola Jokic, his inside presence, his playmaking. They can shoot threes. They do pretty much everything. They play inside. They play outside. They do anything they need according pretty much to what kind of opponent they have on the other side. They don't really play like Boston. Boston is, we know, is a team that relies heavily on the three-point shot. Doesn't have too much of an inside presence. Their big man, Al Horford, we know, is he just roams around the three-point line, shoots a bunch of threes. Denver can play inside, and they will punish inside if they get the opportunity. Miami, guys, we know, is a team very perimeter oriented. They like to shoot a bunch of threes. Don't have much inside presence. The biggest guy is Bam Adebayo, who I think is like 6'9", 6'10 max. They don't have too much inside presence. They are going to struggle, that's for sure. Down on the block, they're going to have to be hitting a bunch of threes in order to stay competitive in this series. Now, overall, guys, my series prediction over here, I think Denver is going to prevail. I have them winning this series 4-1. I think Miami, just with the effort alone and the toughness that they play with, I think they'll be able to squeeze out a game, possibly at home. But on the road, it's going to be a very, very tough task for the Miami Heat. Now, talking about Game 1, let's break down Game 1 real quick, the numbers, and let me tell you guys how I see this playing out. As you guys can see, the line is at 8.5 points. I had the line estimated at 7.5. It is a point higher than what I had estimated. I see some 9s out there. The line does seem to have a tendency to be going up, even though I do expect most of the money to come in with Miami. And the points, they do look like a lot of points. And guys, a lot of people, I think it is engraved in a lot of people's heads that Miami does cover big lines, can win straight up, and it's more recent. We see that the series against the Celtics just ended, so a lot of people do have in mind that they are live dogs, can not only cover these big lines, but can also win straight up. Of course, Denver, guys, different team, like I mentioned, than Boston. Very strong at home. The only thing that I could see standing in the Nuggets' way in this game and losing is possibly some rust. They have not been in action for 9 days since they did sweep their conference finals against the Lakers. They've been off for 9 days. So rust could possibly be an issue here. That's the only thing that's kind of having me contemplate which way to go in this game. But they will also be very eager to play. Being 9 days off Of course, I'm sure they did have a couple of rest days to clear their minds psychologically. They were getting their practice in, had a lot of time to scout both teams. So I do expect the Nuggets to be ready. Now, a lot of talk has also been going on about the altitude, of course, in Denver, but I don't think this will play too much of a role in this game. The Miami Heat guys, what was actually kind of funny, before Game 7 against the Celtics, before the game, there were a lot of reports that Miami had booked their flight to Denver. They had that Game 7 locked, and that's exactly what they did. So they've been in Denver for 2.5 days now. They've gotten their practice in. I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. So they have had time to get acclimated to the altitude in Denver. Now, guys, with all this, with everything we just talked about, I think most of you know which way I am leaning here. I'm going to be going with a play here with Denver and the -8.5. I can't say I'm going to be going too heavy since this is Game 1, and I do have in my mind that they have been off for 9 days and they could be a touch rusty. But I think this is a mismatch. I think Miami's going to have to hit their threes at a very high clip, and they're going to have to hope that Denver is going to be rusty. I will take my chances here in Game 1. Denver -8.5 is my pick here. This is what I'm going to be going with in Game 1. And this is it. This is what I have for you guys on this first game of the NBA Finals and my overall thoughts on how I think the series is going to get played out. That's it, guys. Good luck on your picks if you decide to follow me. It's great. Decide to go on the other side. Good luck. May the best team win. And this is it. I'm going to wrap this video up right here, guys. Good luck once again on your picks, and I will see you in the next video, Game 2 of the NBA Finals, in a couple of days. Have a good one, guys. Later.